Welcome to another lecture by MedicoMedics, Learning Made Easy. Cell Biology, Chapter 1, Introduction to Cell Biology. So in this lecture, we will discuss the importance of cell biology in medicine. We will compare prokaryotic versus eukaryotic cells, discuss the history of cell biology, respond to the question why we study cell biology in medicine, and then end with a summary. Now, what is the importance of cell biology in medicine? Well, cells are the smallest unit of life, responsible for all life processes. Now, what's the relevance of cell biology in medicine? Well, understanding cell biology is critical for diagnosing, treating, and preventing diseases. For example, when we talk about cancer, we're talking about uncontrolled cell growth. If we're talking about another pathology like diabetes, we're talking about dysfunction in insulin-producing cells. Whenever we're talking about infectious diseases, we're talking about pathogens invading and hijacking our cells. Furthermore, cell biology drives innovations like gene therapy and stem cell treatments. So our cells are like bricks of a building. Understanding how they work helps us figure out what's wrong when things break down. So now let's explore the core concept that forms the backbone of cell biology, namely cell theory. The cell theory. Now, all living organisms are composed of one or more cells. From tiny bacteria to complex humans, life relies on cells. Furthermore, the cell is the basic unit of life. It performs all essential processes like energy production, growth, and repair. Furthermore, all cells arise from pre-existing cells. Cells replicate themselves to maintain life and pass on genetic material. Now we have two main types of cells when we discuss cell biology. We talk about prokaryotic cells and we talk about eukaryotic cells. So prokaryotic cells are simpler, smaller, they lack a nucleus and have minimal organelles. The DNA in prokaryotic cells float freely in the cytoplasm. An example of prokaryotic cells are bacteria. However, eukaryotic cells, so human cells, are more complex. They are larger and have a nucleus with organized organelles like mitochondria and the endoplasmic reticulum. These are found in multicellular organisms like plants, animals, and humans. Now you can immediately notice some key differences here. Prokaryotic are smaller, eukaryotic are larger. When we talk about bacteria or prokaryotic cells, they lack a nucleus, while eukaryotic cells have a nucleus. Where one has minimal organelles, the other one has organized organelles, including, for example, mitochondria. Now let's delve a bit deeper into the eukaryotic cell. Now, the eukaryotic cell consists of a nucleus, first and foremost, which is the control center housing the DNA. You can see it here at the very center. We then have mitochondria, which is the powerhouse of the cell, generating ATP, or energy. And you can see the mitochondria illustrated here. Furthermore, we have ribosomes. These are the factories that produce proteins. We have the cytoplasm, the workshop where chemical reactions occur. So this is the cytoplasm, right? All these organelles are floating in this cytoplasm. Furthermore, we have the cell membrane, right? The outer layers of the cell. This is the quote unquote security gate regulating what goes into the cell and what goes out of the cell. So think of a cell as a busy factory. Now, each organelle is a specialized department, keeping the factory running smoothly. Now that we have an overview of cell structure, let's examine how cell biology has evolved as a field. So when we discuss the history of cell biology, a couple of names come to mind. First of all, Robert Hooke. All the way back in 1665, Robert coined the term cell while observing cork under a microscope. Antoine van Leeuwenhoek discovered microorganisms and called them animalcules. Now, furthermore, the development of modern microscopy enabled the study of cellular structures in detail. Now, why do we study cell biology in medicine? Well, as we mentioned, first of all, we need to understand diseases. Almost all diseases, from cancer to infections, begin at the cellular level. Furthermore, innovation in treatments, insights into cells have led to advanced therapies like CRISPR gene editing and immunotherapy. It's important for clinical diagnoses. Blood tests, biopsies, and imaging often target cellular structures or activities. Now, some future frontiers in cell biology include stem cell research, organoids, and artificial tissues, giving us hope for medical breakthroughs. And that's the end of the first lesson, where we had a brief overview. Continue now to Chapter 2.